Walter.
My lady?
Walter, I need your help. I have to get to see my husband.
Is Lord Ferrers still at Carisbrooke with the king, my lady?
No, he's moved. I think to Windsor. Well, first Carisbrooke, then Hurst, now Windsor. They move the poor king about as though in a game of chess. Next, I think it must be London. I have to get to London, Walter.
Emma.
It's very cold, sir.
It is.
There are visitors, sir. Two gentlemen.
Emma.
Thank you, Emma.
You may go, Emma.
Visitors, I believe.
Colonel Arton and General Cromwell. John, there's nothing wrong, is there?
Not that I know of, no.
Be careful.
Good day, gentlemen. Pray excuse me that I was out.
The excuse is ours. To be direct, we came quietly because the matter we would discuss with you is of a privy nature.
Indeed. Some wine?
Thank you.
Mr. Fletcher, I have watched you in the Parliament carefully. I judge you a man God has given judgment and good sense.
Why, thank you.
Mr. Fletcher, we are reluctantly persuaded that it is the will of God that the king should be brought to justice. There is no other way to bring peace and order to this nation.
I agree. We must reason strongly with him.
The time is past for that.
We have a letter to his son in France. Here is a copy. It is clear that he will break any promise he may give to us as soon as it is made. Pretending peace, he still prepares for war.
Yes. He must be brought to justice. I've long known it in my heart.
We are plain soldiers, Mr. Fletcher. You are a skilled lawyer. How should you think it best were done?
Gentlemen, I'm but an humble member of the Parliament, unexperienced in these matters. Well, there are many men more able.
We are consulting with many men, of all estates and ages. As many as we trust, surely. And we trust you, surely, Mr. Fletcher.
I thank you. Then I'll think on it and put some ideas to you on paper.
But you would say this thing should be done in no dark or doubtful way, would you not?
Oh, yes, indeed.
But rather in the open and plain path of justice, reason, law, and religion.
Yes.
It follows, does it not, that any trial should be public, and with the full panoply of the state, so that all the people may see and hear God's will is done.
I fear some danger in that course.
It's time we grasped that nettle firmly.
Who think you should be the judges, Mr. Fletcher? High Court of the most respected men in the land?
Yes, High Court is the best way.
Mr. Fletcher, I thank you. By God's will and guidance, we may together bring this great business to a good end with all convenient speed.
I hope that your father will be willing to sit in that High Court.
My father?
We need the strength of the City of London.
Good day, Mr. Fletcher. May God bless our endeavors.
Good day, sir.
Good day, Mr. Fletcher.
Sir?
John?
They offer me their protection and friendship if I will support them in their designs.
Against the king. Shall you?
I think I should.
Gentlemen, we are called to this committee by Act of Parliament to list the men nominated to the High Court of Justice to sit for 1 month to try the king for his life.
We are resolved, by God's assistance, and that speedily, so to settle the peace of the kingdom by the authority of Parliament in a more happy way than can be expected from the best of kings. The king's trial is to be a public manifestation of God's righteous judgment. Providence and necessity have cast us upon it. To call Charles Stuart, that man of blood, to an account for the blood that he has shed and mischief he has done to his utmost against the Lord's cause and people of these poor nations. Amen. The Chief Justice's role and St. John to be Lord's President of the Court.
They do not wish to serve. They have gone into the country and want no part in this business, and who can blame them?
I would nominate our learned friend John Bradshaw to be the judge and Lord President of the Court.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I deem it a great honor.
Proceed, Mr. Bradshaw.
Should we not wait on the Lord General?
Lord Fairfax is much concerned with the affairs of the army.
How then should we proceed?
Openly, and with the knowledge that we are the instruments of God's justice, and that it will remain upon record to the perpetual honor of the English state that we took no dark or doubtful way, no indirect by-course, but went in the open and plain path of reason.
I say the king should be tried in public in Westminster Hall, as with those other traitors, Archbishop Laud and the Earl of Strafford.
Aye.
Where is the king?
He is on his way to Whitehall under safeguard. He will be lodged here in Westminster under our eyes and close attention at the house of Sir Robert Cotton.
Who is to prosecute the king and draw up the charges on which he shall be tried?
The Solicitor General shall surely do it.
He has an illness, General Cromwell.
Have we doctor's proof of this sudden illness?
Yes, sir.
By your leave, my Lord President, I will do it. I believe I am called upon by God to this great business.
Who is this? John Cook of Gray's Inn, a man strong in our cause.
As Lord President of this court, I nominate John Cook to be the prosecutor.
Aye.
Aye. And to assist him in all ways that may be needful, John Fletcher, now of Arnscott.
Aye.
Aye.
And if any man suggests we try the king for our own gains, or any worldly calculations, he should think himself the greatest traitor in the world. What if the king demands to know by what authority we bring him to judgment? What then?
In the name of the Commons in Parliament assembled, and all the good people of England.
Dick Skinner?
Aye.
Lady.
I would see my husband.
You cannot, your ladyship. He's with the king.
Give him this. It is for the king and most secret. I trust you, Dick.
You may so. How did you come here?
I paid the guard. Who sleeps here?
Lord Ferrer, mistress, you best be gone.
Dick, give him my fondest love.
Be gone, woman.
Lord Ferrer, in future, all this pomp and circumstance will cease. The king will eat and drink like any other man. He may choose his dishes if he will, but no further.
By whose orders?
By the army's orders.
Has Lord Fairfax given this order?
I will not be quizzed by you. I am in charge of the king's person and his servants. So do as I say.
Well, what are they saying then about this business today, Dick?
Which exact business would that be, sir?
Well, the king being brought at last to London.
Oh, well, some of the soldiers are saying that old Noll and the General Cromwell and the army, they've had enough of talking and they're for finishing him off quick with poison. Or by the knife.
The knife?
Right. There are many cutthroats for sale in London, sir. They're only ignorant men like myself, sir. Don't fully understand these matters.
You may rest assured, Dick, the army and Parliament act only in the cause of justice.
Aye, sir.
Have you something else to tell me, Dick? Speak plain. God is our only witness.
This packet, sir. It was brought today for the king. I thought it right you should see it, Mr. Fletcher.
How came it into your hands?
A woman, sir, who'd paid the guards.
Are they to be bought?
Any soldier may be bought, sir.
Who was the lady?
I know not. She were masked. She were a lady of quality.
You may give this to my Lord Ferrer. The king may have it. You did well to bring this to me, Dick. Until our next meeting.
Apart from Cromwell and his colonels, I know not these men. Bradshaw, Cook, who are they?
They are but a motley crew, sir.
Poor creatures. They are but the spaniels of the army. Is that not so, Rogue? Although they have not told me, I know full well why I am here. I have no fear of them. God has entrusted me with a power that is sacred. He who knows the secrets of all our hearts has decreed that the safety of the people rests in the will of the sovereign. I hold myself blameless.
And so you are, sir. Sir, a letter from France.
Sweetheart, it is now 4 long years since last we met. 4 long, long years, my dearest wife. And we shall not meet again on this earth, but in heaven.
Benches here. Your chair, my Lord President, will be set there.
Let it be a fine chair, greater than the King's.
And your clerks will be at this table.
Have a fine Turkey carpet to cover it. I shall be preceded by the sword and mace, and they shall be set upon the table.
So it shall be. And the king shall sit here, facing you. And the prosecutors on his right.
Yeah, and the defense?
Defense?
Well, if the king so wishes it, he should defend himself.
Exactly so. Exactly so, Mr. Cook. And you should wear dark gowns in sober manner. I shall wear a scarlet gown in token of my position.
You'll make a fine mark for an assassin, my Lord President.
I shall be guarded by the armor of righteousness. There will be soldiers aplenty, Colonel Lad.
Aye, sir. Plenty.
All stand.
Sergeant at Arms, send for the prisoner.
As you command, my Lord President.
Lord Fairfax is not one of us.
He has more wit than to be here.
Charles Stuart, King of England. The Commons of England assemble in Parliament, being sensible of the great calamities that have been brought upon this nation, and of the innocent blood that hath been shed in it, which is fixed upon you as the principal author of it, have resolved to make inquisition for this blood, and according to the debt they owe to God, to justice, the kingdom, and themselves, have constituted this High Court of Justice before which you are now brought. And you shall hear your charge, upon which the court will proceed.
My lord, in behalf of the Commons of England and all the people thereof, I do accuse Charles Stuart, here present, of high treason and high misdemeanors. And I do, in the name of the Commons of England, desire the charge may be read unto him.
Hold a little. By your favor, hold.
Sir, court commands the charge to be read. If you have anything to say after, the court will hear you.
I charge that he, the said Charles Stuart, being admitted King of England, and therein trusted with a limited power to govern by and according to the laws of the land, and not otherwise, yet, nevertheless, he has conceived a wicked design to erect and uphold in himself an unlimited and tyrannical power, to rule according to his will, and overthrow the rights and liberties of his people. On behalf of the people of England, I therefore impeach the said Charles Stuart as a tyrant, traitor, murderer, and a public and implacable enemy to the Commonwealth of England.
Sir, you have now heard the charge. The court expects your answer.
I would know by what power I am called here. I would know by what authority. I mean lawful authority. There are many unlawful authorities in the world, thieves and robbers by the wayside. Remember, I am your king, your lawful king. And what sins you bring upon your heads, and the judgment of God upon this land, think well upon it. I say, think well upon it before you go from one sin to a greater. I have a trust committed to me by God, by old and lawful descent. I will not betray it to answer a new unlawful authority. Therefore resolve me that, and you shall hear more of.
Sir, I do charge you. Answer in the name of the people of which you are the elected king.
England was never an elective kingdom, but an hereditary kingdom for near these 1,000 years. I do stand more for the liberty of my people than any here that come to be my pretended judges.
God save your majesty!
God, I command you to withdraw the prisoner!
Let me tell you, it is not a slight thing you are about. I am sworn to keep the peace by that duty I owe to God and my country, and I will do it to the last breath of my body. If you do this thing by an usurped authority, you cannot answer. There is a God in heaven that will call you and all that give you power to account.
We are satisfied with our authority. The court will adjourn till Monday.
You have shown no lawful authority to satisfy any reasonable man.
That is in your apprehension. We are satisfied that are your judges.
It is not my apprehension, nor yours neither, that ought to decide it.
Withdraw the prisoner!
I do not fear that.
The armor of righteousness, my Lord President.
And this hat. That is some weighty judgment.
Spare me your impudence, Colonel Harrison. 'Tis but prudence in such a great business. Well, gentlemen, this is a glorious beginning to the work.
I would say it was a most inglorious beginning, Mr. Bradshaw. The king whipped you, sir. Whipped you in public, wounding most sorely the supreme authority of the court, representing the people of this kingdom.
What then should I do, sir, if he will not recognize the court?
Show him the power of this High Court of Justice, sir. Show him who is the judge and who is the one with blood on his hands, the greatest malignant in the kingdom.
But if he will not answer to the charge, then in common law he cannot be proved guilty.
You are the judge, Mr. Bradshaw. Be strong and hard on him. Be terse and brief. The court is constituted by the Commons of England assembled in Parliament, whose power cannot be permitted to be disputed by him. So con and rehearse your words well. And you too, Mr. Cook, lest this whole business turn into a comedy and our hard-won victories fall into dissolution.
Oh, yea! Every man keep silence upon pain of imprisonment. This court doth command the captain of the guard to take into custody all such persons as shall occasion or make disturbance during the sitting of the court.
May it please your lordship, my Lord President. I did at the last court, in behalf of the Commons of England, exhibit and give to this court a charge of high treason and other high crimes against the prisoner at the bar. My lord, he was not then pleased to give an answer, but instead of answering, did there dispute the authority of this high court. My humble motion is that the prisoner may be directed to make a positive answer, either by way of confession or negation, which if he shall refuse to do, that the matter of the charge may be taken pro confesso, and the court may proceed according to justice.
For the charge, I value it not a rush. But this is not my case alone. It is the freedom and liberty of the people of England, and do you pretend what you will, I stand more for their liberty than you do, for if power without law may make laws, may alter the fundamental laws of the kingdom, I do not know what subject he is in England that can be sure of his life or anything that he calls his own.
Sir, you appear before this court as a delinquent. The court demands a punctual and direct answer.
Sir, by your favor, I do not know the forms of law. I do know law and reason, although I am no lawyer professed. But I know as much law as any gentleman in England, and therefore I do plead for the liberties of the people of England more than you do. The Commons of England was never a court of judicature. I would know how they came to be so.
Clerk, call upon the prisoner to answer the charge.
I will answer so soon as I know by what authority you do this.
Sergeant-at-Arms, remove the accused. Yes, sir.
I require that I may give in my reasons why I do not answer, and give me time for that.
Sir, it is not for prisoners to require.
Sir, I am no ordinary prisoner.
Gentlemen, it is well known to all or most of you here present that the prisoner at the bar has several times been convened and brought before this court to make answer to a charge of treason and other high crimes exhibited against him in the name of the people of England.
Not half! Not a quarter of the people of England! Oliver Cromwell is a traitor!
Present your muskets! Unmask, woman! What dram is this that disturbs the court? Come down or I will fetch you down!
As you were. The court have considered the charge. They have likewise considered the notoriety of the fact charged against the prisoner. And upon the whole matter, they are resolved and agreed upon a sentence to be pronounced against the prisoner.
I desire, before I am sentenced, that I be heard before the Lords and Commons of England assembled. I do conjure you, as you love that which you pretend, the liberty of the subject and the peace of the kingdom, that you will grant me the hearing before any sentence be passed. If I cannot get this liberty, I do protest at such rank injustice, since you will not hear your king.
Sir, you have spoken.
Yes, sir.
And this you have spoken
Have
as a
we
father
hearts of
declining...
stone? Are we men?
Be silent, man, or you'll ruin everything. I'll not be silent. I'll die for it if I must.
What the hell, sir? Are you mad? Can't you sit still and keep quiet?
No, I cannot keep quiet. No. I am not satisfied to give my consent to a sentence. We have reasons to offer you against it, and desire the court may adjourn to hear them.
If any member of the court be unsatisfied, the court must adjourn. The court will withdraw for a time.
Shall I withdraw?
Sir, you shall know the pleasure of the court present.
Sir Austin, why have you put this trouble and disturbance on the court? God knows I desire not the king's death, but his life. And I think there are many like me, if they will speak up.
All I thirst for is the settlement of this nation in peace.
And now his majesty doth offer it, and we should not refuse it.
My Lord President, you see what weighty reasons these gentlemen put upon you to disturb you. Do they not know we deal with the hardest-hearted man on earth? I pray you waste no more time, but bustle this thing to its finish. Return to the court and do your duty.
I would say this to you, gentlemen, that by your behavior, you have shown the king can be tried by no court, and further, no man can be tried by this court.
We will cut off the king's head with the crown upon it.
You may take what course you will, sir. I cannot stop you. But I will keep myself clean from having any hand in it.
Would you make a bloody mutiny in the army and have all our throats cut?
Can you not put a curb in your father's mouth, Fletcher? Or it could go badly for him in this matter.
Oh, John. John, surely even you must see it clear now. This court is but a cruel mockery of justice. You cannot defend it.
This court is set up by the Commons of England, by Parliament.
Parliament, Commons. There is no Parliament or Commons. These few that's left this rump are but Cromwell's journeymen, and you're one of them. Have some sense and step down from this sad business. And let them go hang themselves, for that's what they'll do if they meddle with the king's life.
Yet you consented to be a member of this court.
I thought I could bring some reason, some fair sense of justice into it. But I was wrong. I did not know Cromwell was set so fast on murder.
This court is in judgment and conscience satisfied that he, the said Charles Stuart, is guilty of levying war against the said Parliament and people.
This court is fully satisfied that he is guilty of high treason.
For all which treasons and crimes, this court doth adjudge the said Charles Stuart as tyrant, traitor, murderer, and public enemy to the good people of this nation, shall be put to death by severing of his head from his body.
And when you've snuffed him, what then?
Liberty, justice, and peace. An elected Parliament to rule the land.
Noel Cromwell's liberty, justice, and peace.
Sir, this sentence now read and published. It is the act, sentence, judgment, and resolution of the whole court.
Will you hear me a word?
Sir, you are not to be heard after the sentence. Sergeant-at-Arms.
Yes, sir.
I may speak after the sentence. By your favor, sir, I may speak after the sentence. By your favor, sir. I am not suffered for to speak. Expect what justice other people will have.
Right.
Well signed, Fletcher. This pen is sharper than any of your arrows. Every name on this warrant will hone the axe more keenly. Guard the door well. All that are come in shall set their hand. Come, Mr. Downes. We will have your hand now. Come now, Mr. Downes. No more sliding back.
I did not come here to sign.
Henry, we must help Mr. Downes' hand. Not so strong as his voice. Well done, Mr. Downes. That'll send you to posterity.
I fear it may us all.
What a froward, peevish fellow you are, to be sure. See.
Colonel Leckie, the king is engaged.
I must speak with him.
The Princess Elizabeth and Duke of Gloucester are with him, making their farewells.
Ah, poor man. It must be as hard for a king to say goodbye to his children as it is for any one of us.
With his wife and 2 eldest sons abroad.
He's a brave fellow. I'll say that for him. As for my orders, I'd sooner face a campaign in the field than carry them out.
Wildfire?
Farrar, fetch in my casket, if you please. They will cut off my head and perhaps make you a king. But mark what I say, you must not be made a king so long as your brothers, James and Charles, do live. For they will cut off your brothers' heads when they catch them, and cut off your head, too, at the last. Therefore, I charge you, do not be made a king by them.
I will be torn in pieces first.
Well spoken. It is for you. You see all the wealth now in my power to give my children.
I think that poor child will die of a broken heart.
Sir, I must tell you, I am commanded. I have a warrant to arrange for your execution on the morrow.
On the morrow. You will stay with me, Colonel?
I will, sir. I will not leave you. You will not go into the king's room again.
They can't find a man to cut off the king's head. They're offering the soldiers up to £100 for one of them to do the job.
I doubt not they'll find a man at that price.
Aye, sir.
Farrar, I would ask a favor of you. Perhaps not an easy one to give.
I am at your command, sir, as always.
I have written down a few words for the morrow. I would hear them spoken, for they are my testament. Con it a while first. Speak when you're ready. Quietly, no great oration.
I forgive all the world, and even those in particular that have been the chief causes of my death. Who they are, God knows. I do not desire to know. I pray God forgive them. As to the people, truly I desire their liberty and freedom as much as anybody. But it is not for them having a share in the government. That is nothing pertaining to them. A subject and sovereign are clear, different things. It was for this that now I am come here. For if I would have given way to an arbitrary power, for to have all the laws changed according to the power of the sword, I needed not to come here. And therefore I tell you, I am the martyr of the people. And so I have delivered my conscience. I have a good cause and a gracious God. I will say no more.
Thank you, Farrar. You do me a great service. This clock is for you. Keep it with you, that it may keep time for me until I need time no more. And then it will keep time for you. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Lucinda will be down to see you soon.
Thank you.
"'Tis bitter cold."
Aye, cold. Cold for the morrow's work.
Edward, you've been nearer the king than any other person these last few days. What are his thoughts just now?
Of his family, of course, and of his God.
What of his trial and the morrow?
John, when I told the Parliament, as it then was, that I would serve the king, I made it a condition of that service that I would not play the spy, not for the king's friends, nor for his enemies.
I'm not asking you to play the spy, Edward. Anyway, it's rather too late for that. I'm asking you as a friend and brother-in-law whom I admire greatly, in spite of our differences, to tell me something that I would like to know and will keep privately to myself.
I think the king will sleep more easily in his bed this night than any of us.
But he feels no guilt.
None at all. He believes he has a good cause and a gracious God. He forgives the men who cause his death and thanks them.
Thanks them?
Thanks them. In that they will make him a martyr. The martyr of the people. Charles the Martyr will be remembered by the people of England long after his judges have gone to their doom. And that seed of memory will ensure the rebirth of his royal line.
Do you believe it?
Oh, yes. I believe it.
Bera, you must stay here. What is the time? Bless you for the pains you have been at to give me comfort. I go from a corruptible to an incorruptible crown, where no disturbance can be, no disturbance at all. Remember,
thought to see such a thing. God save the king.
Old Nick'll have him for his mate, be sure of that. Hey, look what I've got. His blood. How's that for a memorial, eh?
The same colour as any other mortals.
What's the match of it? Oh, you never seen the like. Came pouring through the wood. Enough for 2 men, I reckon.
My little sister, so heavily disguised.
We need to be in this place. Or was there nowhere else we could meet?
Oh, they're good fellows, all of them.
Tom, you're drunk.
Like many a good royalist Christian this night. Only look at you. A man might take hope from this place.
How are you? Well, what do you do?
Oh, I drink and I play cards. And sometimes, when I'm in funds, I go whoring. What else is there to do in this pox-ridden Puritan city?
Why not go down to Arnscott? Anne will give you comfort, sustenance, and down there you will be ready.
Ready? Ready for what? A feast on humble pie?
We must avenge him, Tom.
Avenge him? Cromwell knew what he was about. That axe has cut our cause to the heart.
We must forge new weapons. I go to Holland with Edward. And when I come back, it'll be with King Charles II. Then we will need your sword again.
My old blunt sword. Trembling hand. They shall be at His Majesty's disposal, madam.
What does this fella say?
I say, God save King Charles II. And any man
man who says else can have some cold steel in his belly.
Let him be! He's a queasy drummer fellow who knows not what he's saying.
Listen up!
Cruel necessity.